And joining me right now is the District of Guam at Large representative, member of the House Armed Services Committee, James Moylan, is here this morning. Congressman, thanks very much for being here. Explain the Guam angle here and why you, too, are worried about the threat from Communist China.
Well, half a day, Maria, and this is how we do our greetings back in Guam. And yes, this is quite disturbing for me. I'm very concerned of the situation of China, and as a member of the the House Armed Services Committee, we are focused, or the Republican Party is focused on the defense of our nation and the protection of the people of Guam, my district on Guam. And right now, the Communist Chinese Party has warships just outside our boundary lines near Guam. And our main concern is the buildup on Guam to protect the residents of Guam and to protect our nation, being the most forward deployed, strategically located United States property with U.S. citizens living there and the military bases being built up there. We are, in my opinion, in a rush to make sure that the defense of the nation is well taken care of. And that's what we're focused on right now. And the Republican Party is truly focused on this issue as well. It's about the defense and deterring the Communist Chinese Party from taking any aggression on U.S. soil. This buildup will continue, and the sustainability of the military bases on Guam is very important to keep this Communist Chinese Party from ever being an aggressor on the United States of America.
Well, I think you're making so many important points, Congressman, and there are Chinese aircraft carriers operating right now in the waters near Guam this week. Chinese state news said that the deployment is an overt provocation to the United States. Here's Michael McCall on what Taiwan needs to do. I'm wondering about the eyes and ears on the ground in Taiwan and what you feel is needed in Guam. Watch this.
You and I talked about ISR, that's intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance. China has eyes and ears on the ground everywhere in the Pacific region. We have some, but Taiwan has none. And we talked about the idea, like we did in Ukraine, putting up a Starlink satellite system to give Taiwan eyes and ears on the ground to see into China, to see the threat before it comes, so they can stop it from invading the island.
So what about that, Congressman? Do you think Taiwan should, in fact, get that Starlink system to get the eyes and ears on the ground? And what about Guam? Do you need or do you want to see any further build-up or support in Guam to be those eyes and ears, since that's the closest U.S. area for the communists?
Absolutely. Our commanders are under a lot of pressure in the Indo-Pacific Command, right? Our admiral and our Joint Regional Marianas Center on Guam, our rear admiral are in need of a lot of support. These folks, these commanders are willing and know their mission is absolute importance and need to be ready as soon as possible. Now, the National Defense Authorization Act, the budget that we're working on now, we're providing amendments to them for the purpose of supporting our commanders. Right. One most important thing is Guam Missile Defense System. President Biden's administration excluded the missile defense system for Guam, $147 million short of giving us this missile defense system. This will help Taiwan. This will help our island of Guam. This will help our national defense. It must be included. We made the amendment to include it. And when I'm told by the administration that they gave enough money to support the island, that's totally wrong. We are having Marines. We're building up the Army there as well. These are sons and daughters of U.S. residents, right? Across the nation. Every congressional member in my 118th class would have people there from their district to include the island of Guam. Our residents need the protection as well. And if the Biden administration is not going to fund this, then that's absolutely wrong. That is not right. And this is something that I'm so glad. I'm glad that we're ensuring.
I mean, Guam is U.S. territory. I don't understand why the administration would exclude U.S. territory from the weapons you need.
Absolutely right. U.S. territory, and we're totally dedicated. Our patriotism is very strong. During World War II, we were invaded, and we don't want that same thing to happen again. And that's why the buildup is important.
Yeah.
Our island chain, the Commonwealth of the Northern Marianas, our other island nations, Republic of Palau, Federated States of Micronesia, and so forth, right? This buildup needs to happen.
Yeah.
This is U.S. soil. We are U.S. citizens. The Biden administration should be talking about this. We talked about balloons, but when we got warships outside the boundary of U.S. territory of Guam, why isn't that talked about? I'm not sure. Why are we shortening the funding that our commanders in Indo-Pacific have said is the #1 unfunded priority? I'm going to make sure that happens. I think my colleagues, my Republican colleagues, and across the board will make sure that happens. It is included in the National Defense Authorization Act, and I'm writing to President Biden to ensure to support this, and that's what I want to see happen. This is utmost important to me.
Congressman, thank you. Yeah. Thank you for making the case today on this program. We hear you, we understand, and we're going to be watching your next steps. James Moylan, thank you, sir. Congressman from Guam in D.C. this morning. Thank you.